with Zoom, it's kind of like the only option. Like if I want to do anything that's outside of like local, like if I had set up a camera and I had people come over and I did like a little studio, I could do that. But if I want to get to somebody like and have a conversation, it's that's kind of the only option is to use Zoom.
Exactly. Do you have a studio or like
No,
a?
I actually, do you know who Chance Rich is?
Yeah,
So we were roommates, and this is his old room. So
got you. Okay.
this is
So
it.
most of your uh interviews are on Zoom.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
started this with a couple of coaches that are down in San Diego. One I wrestled with at Cal State, and yeah, it's kind of the only way you could do it. Um,
Exactly. It's convenient.
it's convenient, and yeah, I have. So I'm a teacher, so you get free Zoom.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
might as
Yeah.
well just take it, take
Yeah.
advantage of it.
Yeah. Hopefully my Zoom doesn't run out. I don't think I have like a subscription. I think it gives you an hour, right? Does it give you an hour or
So if you don't have a subscription, you get 30 minutes, but because it's my meeting, like you
boom.
get to use the
Okay.
same thing.
Okay. Yeah, we used to
Um,
use Zoom all the time for football when it was COVID. So it would be all of our meetings would be on Zoom
were you
for the
playing
most
for the
part.
49ers during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first year.
Dude, that's got to be kind of a crazy thing to go
You know,
and be trying to compete for a spot and be on the team and trying to do it over Zoom. And I mean, what were the workouts like?
yeah. I mean, there was a lot stacked against us, like the rookies going in there. Um, but they figured out how to do uh like some workouts and a bunch of team stuff. We just had to wear masks, and I think there was like a limited amount of time that we could spend with each other. But for the most part, it was like we were just grinding on Zoom, just trying to get the playbook down and stuff. And then the one opportunity that we did have for drills and like team workouts, we had to make the most of it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, man. I mean, obviously with high school it's a little bit different, but I would do like Zoom like workouts, and it's like, dude, we don't have access to any facilities. It's just like, all right, we're gonna do crunches and we're gonna do push-ups and we'll do stuff like that, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, we had the resources of getting tested every day, and I know I mean, if high schools were trying to do that, that's a lot of money, for those tests because those tests are expensive. But we were able to test every day, and so we were getting like you got the positive result, then you got to go and practice, and so that's how they were doing it. It was kind of annoying, but I mean, they found a way around it.
I mean, that's kind of what with anything with sports is just like, all right, something happens. It's like we just have to figure out a way to deal with it.
Exactly, exactly. But it was tricky with the NFL because there's a bigger spotlight
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
them.
you
So
can't
it's
mess
like
up.
exactly. So they were trying to do all the right things of like you can't sit in the seat right next to your teammate. Like you had to give two
Yeah.
seats, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of weird. Like, and then we would get up from the meeting and then we would just talk to each other like right. It didn't make any sense. But I mean, the NFL had certain rules and the NFLPA, they were strict about it just so like if anyone tried to sue, I guess. So they stayed in the safe.
I mean, that's kind of what it came down to is just trying not to get sued. Because
Exactly.
same thing
Fined. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
exactly.
we had practices at it was like a it's called Elite Fitness Center, but it's like this big gym that had like these volleyball like floors. They had two volleyball
Yeah,
floors, so we just
yeah.
rolled out mats and like all the different high schools came in and trained. And technically, we weren't supposed to be doing that, but it was like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we need to figure out a way to wrestle because these kids are it's not good to
Exactly.
be inside all day.
Exactly. Yeah, no. I mean, you got all these people telling you you need to stay in the house all day, every day, but like that's hurting you more than, going outside and taking the chance of, getting COVID. Uh, so it's like it was destroying people health wise. Like you need to be outside, you need to be working out, you need to be doing some type of physical activity, and staying inside wasn't, I don't think that was the right choice. But who am I? I have to follow the rules, or I'll get fined, or I'll get cut, or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean that's the scariest thing is you don't want to lose your job, and that's kind of the
exactly,
question. It's like you kind of have to ask yourself, like, is this my personal opinion? Is it worth my job? And
yeah, exactly. No, I wasn't in the position to like protest in any way, but there was some people on the 49ers team that were like they were against getting the vaccine. Me personally, I was against that, but like I said, like I can't combat the rules and or they would just cut me because that's just the position I was in. But there were some people that were of value of the team, and they chose to not get it for a long period of time. But it was just like they just kept making rules where it was like he was backing you into the corner to
yeah,
like you had to get it. They were making you wait outside the facility at like 5:30 in the morning, to get tested, and then you had to wait for the result type thing. You couldn't go eat breakfast at a certain time. You couldn't be in the meetings. It was weird. I'm glad
it's like
those days are over.
no, man. It was. I mean, and it's funny now. It's like it's. I guess it's not funny, but it's like none of that stuff even like mattered. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah, it
all
just went
these
away.
tests and all these studies. It's just like now it's no big deal.
There's a lot of politics going on. I don't know if this podcast is about politics or anything, but I mean, there's
We
a
can
rabbit
talk
hole that
about
we could
whatever
go.
you want, man.
There's a rabbit hole we could go down, but I mean, especially with this upcoming election, like what's gonna happen next? You know what I'm saying? Like something crazy gonna have to happen in order for a certain candidate to win. So I'm prepared for the worst. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, nothing bad happens like COVID again. But God dang, dude, they'll do anything to win.
I mean, that's kind of what like. So I'm kind of gotten away from like national politics and kind of just been
Yeah,
focused on like
yeah,
I can't control what's happening in this debate. Like I
exactly.
can't control what's
That's where I
happening.
am too. Yeah,
I can try to like help people around me, and I can put out something hopefully semi positive out into the world. That's kind of it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, that's where I am. 'Cause and I went to college. I was studying politics. I was working to get my political science degree. So I was like head first into all this stuff. But at some point, this stuff starts to just stress you out and just it destroys you. So
Yeah, you
I'm
realize
I'm
how
I'm
jacked up
with you.
everything is.
I'm like I can't control anything. I'm just gonna comply as much as I can to a certain extent. I'm not no pushover. So if it comes to crossing my values, yeah, I'm willing to take the stand. But like that, my position that I was in with the NFL, it is what it is. I had to do what I got to do to try to make the team, and if it was taking the vaccine, it is what it is. Hopefully I don't die when I'm 40. That's the consequences. But it's like we're already strapping on a helmet and we run freaking at full speed into each other. So it's like I'm already killing myself. So what's the
Yeah.
vaccine gonna do to me?
Well, you played fullback, I think, right in the NFL, but then you also in college you did a bunch of other different positions. You
Yeah,
played linebacker, you played special teams.
yeah,
I mean, fullback alone, and did you play? Were you inside backer or middle linebacker or outside?
yeah. So I in high school I was a safety. Um, and then I dabbled with the running back position, and so I chose to walk on at Fresno State, and I thought the smart route would be linebacker, and it was at first it was inside linebacker, but that position they had a lot of guys that they recruited, a lot of scholarship guys, and then they tried to move me to outside backer, but the way the defense worked, you got to be a bigger guy. You're kind of like more of a defensive end linebacker type
Yeah,
guy, or you're a safety, like a speed backer, which I'd never fit any of those categories. I was more of like a linebacker. So I was like kind of already out of position. And then all of our running backs got hurt that season, and they were like, let's put this guy in, let's see what happens. And so against Hawaii, they put me in. I was prepared for one carry because they only give me one play. I was like, okay, I mean, this is inside zone. They just hand me the ball. I just do whatever. And we ended up running that one play 18 times in the first half.
Yeah.
And I got 99 yards. And then on the first play of the second half, I cramped up because I wasn't practicing all year. I was just trying to get big for next year. And so I was like, I wasn't in the shape that I was supposed to be in, especially for running back, So it was cool how it happened, but I'm still kind of salty that I didn't get the 100 yards on my first game of playing running back in college, but it is what it is. And then ever since then, they kept me there. So
Yeah, you played. Was it? I did some research. Obviously, you played 12 games as a freshman, right?
yeah,
Is that
so
what they said?
I was
Okay, yeah.
one of four. Yeah, I was one of four freshmen that got to travel with the team. I started on special teams. I knew that was going to get my foot in the door, just to make the team. So I was just doing kickoff and kickoff return, special teams type stuff. And then I got in on garbage time. Either we were winning or we were losing bad. In this case, we were 1-11, so we were always getting destroyed my freshman year. Um, but yeah, no, I was playing special teams, and so yeah, I played in every game my freshman year. I was one of four that got to travel with the team.
That's kind of like maybe one of the unfortunate things about football is like you need time in order to get better at something. But it's like
Yeah.
you can't necessarily get all those live reps like you would if you were doing like
Mhm.
wrestling or something else. It's
Yes.
like
Great
you
point.
need those other guys kind of to play.
Great point. And that's what kind of like bit me in the butt with the NFL situation because I never played fullback. And so now I'm competing with this 8-time Pro Bowler, and he's played like tight end, fullback, pretty much. I wouldn't say his whole life because he kind of took my route too, but in college, which is that's an important time to develop in football. Kind of when you get to the NFL, it's already you are who you are, and
Yeah.
so there's not much. You don't get very many reps, and so I couldn't adapt in that short amount of time. It's hard to admit, but it is what it is. I never played fullback, and I did the best I could. But I mean, when you're competing against a guy that's 8-time Pro Bowler at the fullback position, and he kind of played that position in college as well. It's hard learning that fast.
Well, you got recruited to Fresno State for wrestling, right? Like,
Yeah, it was. So I signed my national letter of intent in with Drexel in Philadelphia.
oh, to follow your brother. Your brother was there, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so a week before I was supposed to find an apartment and move over there, like something inside of me was just like, man, just stay home and walk onto the football team. And at this time, they didn't have Fresno State didn't have a wrestling team. And so I was gonna have to wait a year. And so I was like, in the meantime, I'm just gonna.
It's
Oh,
it's on the dashboard, man.
yeah, no, my God dang, I should have parked in the shade, I guess.
No, you're good.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
we,
I see
are we
you.
still rolling? Are we
Yeah,
still rolling?
we keep it rolling, man.
Yeah. By
I
the
figured
way,
I learned how to video edit like I don't know, like 40 episodes into the doing
there
the
it is.
podcast, and like people
There
were
it
like,
is.
dude, all this stuff, just how does it keep making like the thing? I'm like, I only do one take, like I don't cut anything. And
Yes,
somebody
that's
said
good.
something controversial, and they're asked if I could cut out, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I should probably cut that out. So I had to figure out how to cut it out.
That's awesome. We're gonna have to go from a different camera angle now. So
That's fine.
okay,
That's
we're
fine.
good. What
Yeah,
was that?
you were talking about you cut out like right when you were talking about Fresno State and you're
Okay,
thinking about
yeah,
staying
yeah,
home and
yeah.
Mhm.
So Fresno State didn't have a team at this point. So I was like, in the meantime, I'm just gonna play football. That's where my head was at. So I end up earning a scholarship.
Hell yeah.
I liked football a little bit more than I thought I was. I started getting invested in football. I was like, oh, you know what? By next year, I could probably start if I took this serious. But football always rubbed me the wrong way at the end of the season for whatever reason. Because I mean, it's a team sport, so there's only so much you could control. So it's like maybe the coach didn't give you enough carries or didn't put you in the game enough, or the
Yep.
game didn't go how you wanted it. And so that feeling of like the disrespect and I don't know however my crazy brain works.
You're a
Um,
competitor, dude. Straight
yeah,
up.
so I'm like I got to show everybody that I'm just different. And so Fresno State ended up getting their team, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and cut down to 197 as well. And so yeah, that first year was rough though. I thought I was just gonna go in there, tech everybody. That is not the case, dude. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. And in my case, I did. I ended up pulling my hamstring in practice, like middle of the season. So that was like really hard for me to come back from. Because I don't know if you've ever hurt your hamstring or anything like
Uh,
that. Like
yeah, I tore my
that's
calf
no joke.
muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, anything in the leg, dude, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
So hurt my hamstring, and I kept trying to wrestle on it throughout the year, but I was just never the same. Like the whole time, I just couldn't train the way I needed to. Um, and I ended up, I don't even think I went 500. Maybe I was 8 and 9. I ended up taking fifth at the Big 12, and I came in there, I was seated last. I think there was 14 teams in the Big 12,
Yeah.
and I was the 14th guy. But I ended up having a decent tournament, and then that's when it clicked. My whole mentality changed of I don't need to tech anybody. I just need to win.
Yeah.
And so that was my whole mentality. It shifted because I stopped putting so much pressure on myself. I'm like, all I got to do is get 2 takedowns. None of these guys could take me down. And so I went in with that mentality into that tournament, and I kind of found a groove with that. And I ended up winning. I think I lost my very first match, and then I won like 5, 4, maybe 4 after that. And so
That
that carried on.
was that
That
your
carried
was that your
on.
junior year? Or that was your sophomore year?
That would have been the true sophomore, but technically it could have been a redshirt freshman. Redshirt freshman year. I don't.
Dude,
The whole thing
it's
because
well, now it's
yeah,
even worse because the whole COVID thing.
exactly. If I would have played my cards right, I might have been in college still. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I want to say you might even still have eligibility for NAIA or like National JUCO for wrestling.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah. Because
I found this out. Yeah, go ahead.
I still had that 1 year left because
Uh-huh.
I was only a junior. Yeah, I was only a junior in wrestling in the my wrestling years, I guess.
That means you have to go back to school though.
Exactly. I was like, no.
You gotta take
I
at
was like,
least
I'm
1
good,
year.
dude. I don't need that. Once I got on that podium, I was like, this is what I set out to do, and I did it. Everything else is a bonus. So and that's why I decided to leave early. I guess
Yeah.
in wrestling terms, because my football career was over. I did the 4 years, and that was all I had left. So I had one more year in wrestling, but the 49ers were calling me, so I was like, I got to take this opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of that's just what happens sometimes too with life, man. It's like you have to kind of come to a crossroads, and it's just like, dude, this is fun. I like doing this, but I did what I wanted. Now it's like this is also pretty cool. And at the time, you
Exactly.
said football was kind of becoming your thing. It's like, yeah, heck yeah, man. The 49ers call you, like, might as well try it.
Yeah, who wouldn't freaking take that? There's just in football that man, there's just way too much money on the table. Especially you make that 53-man roster. I mean, you're making them a minimum of around 400 to 500,000. Like that's life-changing money. Like people work 10 years, they don't even make that. Maybe they work their whole life, they don't even make that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a cool opportunity. I mean, so you think about like you're the competitor, right? If you're competing in some of these big events, whether it's high school, college, NFL, when you're on the football field, yeah, it's a bigger environment, but it's kind of you and a bunch of other people out there. When it's a wrestling
Yeah,
venue, it's just you and another person squaring off.
exactly.
Kind of
Yeah.
like MMA in a little bit. What
Yes.
do you prefer? Do you like a bigger environment and sharing it with people, or you just like being out
No,
there
no,
mano a
no
mano?
chance. Yeah. One-on-one. That's what I love. And that's why I'm doing MMA. Because they're just like I don't like relying on other people. You know, maybe that's sounds bad. I don't know, but that's just my mentality. I know the work I'm willing to put in, and when I don't gotta rely on a left tackle to put in the work that I'm putting in, I don't know. It makes way more sense to me, and it's way more fulfilling because it's just you and all the pressure's on you. And so when you're able to succeed, it's that much greater. So yeah, no, I 100% prefer the one-on-one sport.
Yeah. How has that transition been going from football, where you kind of have that football kind of training lifestyle, and now you're going back to more combat? And I feel like wrestling MMA training is a little bit different, obviously, because you got to hit all these different styles
Yeah,
and be able to blend them together. But what's that been like?
exactly. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been fun. Um, yeah, you have to have an open mind, and it does suck starting at you know square one again. So it's like because you're going into this new sport, and just because you know wrestling, it doesn't mean like you're just gonna win and be the champion. Like you got to learn all the arts of fighting, and so it's a big learning curve. But when you've wrestled, though, it, it's the saying of everything else is easier. We
Yeah.
know we've experienced the worst when you're tired, and this guy's still in front of you trying to push you, and you gotta find a way to win the match. Like there's nothing harder than that when you everything in your body's just telling you to quit, like, and you got to push through it. I mean, that's helped me a lot. So, but it's been challenging to learn the striking, and there's games that need to be played, just not in the grappling sense, but in striking as well. So I'm being a sponge right now. I'm learning it all.
And you're in a pretty cool spot, man. Jackson Wink, that's Albuquerque, New Mexico. I kind of
Yeah.
go off and on in terms of like watching MMA and not watching MMA, but
Yeah.
he's had some pretty tough guys. That's not where is that where John Jones trained at, or am I thinking?
This is where he
Yeah,
started. This is where he started.
maybe
Yeah.
Gagey, was Justin Gagey with him too?
I'm not sure about Gaethje. I know he's in Colorado. I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped by. So
Yeah,
every big, like, especially old school name, every guy has stopped by in this gym to train with these coaches. So it's like GSP, Rashad Evans, Orlovsky, Wolverine, like all these legends of the sport. They've all came here. Cerrone,
yeah,
they've all came here and trained over here. Yeah, John Jones still lives out here. I think he rents out the old Greg Jackson gym because
gotcha.
he's a champion. He has a certain way of training. He likes having certain partners, certain coaches. So he's not out in the open. But yeah, he's still out here. Holly Holm is another big name that's out here as well. Yeah, no, but this is like a old school gym. There ain't no beaches. Um, there's barely a lake. Maybe an hour away. But it's not pretty out here. But I mean, these coaches, man, They have the knowledge, they got the wisdom, and that's priceless. So I'm willing to sacrifice that, to learn from them.
Yeah, and I think especially with the kind of walk on mentality you've had prior, it's like, dude, I feel like this could be your thing for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched your first fight, and you're fighting heavyweights. Was that something? Were you thinking at all like I might go light heavyweight? You're like, nah, like I'm sticking with heavyweights.
No, I mean with wrestling, it kind of opened my eyes because it's like when I wrestled 197, that's like the whole thing. I'm not big enough to wrestle heavyweight, so I got to go down in weight. And then the next year, I was like, I don't really care. I all American. I'm just gonna wrestle heavyweight and just let's see what happens. And I come to find out it was easier. They
Yeah.
they fall down a little bit easier and they get tired faster. And so I'm taking the same approach. I mean, it's dangerous. They punch a little bit harder, but I mean it's a little bit slower and they get tired faster. And I have the speed advantage. I'll have the cardio advantage. So it's all about technique. And so I'm willing to put in the work to figure out the right moves, to be safe and smart wrestling entries, smart striking entries, to learn the technique. That's no problem. I'm willing to, figure that out.
Yeah, you just gotta put the time in. Like that's the biggest
Exactly.
thing. Is just putting in the
Exactly.
time. What's your
Exactly.
training situation like right now?
As far as what, just my
Yeah,
schedule
like
or
during the week, like how often are you training wrestling? How much are you boxing? How
yeah.
much are you lifting?
So every morning, because that was one thing in my first fight I didn't take very seriously because you look at guys like Daniel Cormier and their physique's not like you're not intimidated when you see them.
I'm gonna tell
But
him you said that next time I see him.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he's a two-division champ, so it's like
Yeah.
I was kind of taking that approach where it's like I don't care about what I look like as long as I'm able to feel good and be in shape. So I wasn't working out that much, like lifting wise. So now every morning, um, I hit the gym and I work out like I used to, because I kind of want to be on the leaner side now, where I'm not carrying no backpack. Nothing's holding me back, nothing's restricting my cardio. So I'm kind of experimenting with that just to see if I get in this type of shape, how hard I could push the fight. So yeah, every morning I wake up and me and my wife we work out at our local gym. And then on Monday I got cardio. Greg Jackson has his own cardio class. And like it's just about pushing the wall. We'll do like frog hops for 5 minutes, and then we'll do wall sits for 5 minutes. We'll punch the ball or punch the wall with one arm for 5 minutes, switch arms 5 minutes, flutter kicks for 5 minutes, like stuff like that. That's like gonna get you in that state of mind of like you want to quit, but you have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And so that's every Monday. So that could mess up your whole week if your body's not used to that. When I first got
Yeah.
here, I did that. I was like, oh my God, I'm jacked up for a week. Like my legs were messed up because I just wasn't used to that. But that's how we start off the Monday. And then man, they got classes like running all day with different coaches. And so I try to hit just the main ones with like the main coaches like Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn, which on Mondays, Winklejohn has a striking class in the afternoon. But I hit mitts every day. And then Tuesday we do the sparring, and then we have jiu-jitsu at night, and then we do Wednesdays wrestling, and then Thursday sparring, jiu-jitsu. Friday I kind of just text some of the guys that I train with, and we do our own session where we put 5 minutes on the clock and we just wall wrestle, where it's like one guy's defending and then another guy is trying to take the other guy down. So, and then my biggest thing is I like to feel that feeling of wanting to quit, like that strain, because it used to scare me, especially in college, in college wrestling. I used to dread going out on that mat because they weren't gonna just fall over like high school.
Yeah.
You know, those guys weren't just gonna give up. They weren't just gonna let me beat them. Like after I get 3 takedowns, they were just gonna stop wrestling. No, not in college wrestling. And so I was scared of that feeling. And so how I learn to deal with that is face it every day. And
Yeah.
so that's I'm taking the same approach in MMA. I'm looking for that feeling, which it sucks. But I mean, if you become friends with it, it's like people are not willing to go that far, you know.
Do you think like you're afraid of like getting tired, or you're afraid that things aren't going to end
You
up
know,
your way?
no. My biggest fear is getting tired. I'm not being able to defend myself when I'm that tired.
Yeah.
So I felt that twice my freshman year of college wrestling, where there was this guy. I posted this on my Instagram, but his name was Tate Orndorff or
Utah Valley.
Tanner Orndorff. Yeah, Tanner or Tate was his older brother, but Tanner Orndorff. He was known for this pace, and I just couldn't keep it up. My first year, I didn't know how to, and so he just kept wrestling the whole time. And then I would choose bottom, and he would ride tough. He wouldn't let me go. He would run me out of bounds. And I'm like, I just couldn't handle that pressure. And so the next year, I went to Utah Valley, and the elevation's different from Fresno, of course. And so he did the same thing, but this time I had a bigger lead. I was doing smarter, more efficient moves on him to not
Yeah.
waste the energy, but he still found a way. He was coming back, and then he almost took me down with 30 seconds left, and I thought I was defeated. Like I was winning, but I was defeated in my brain. And I was like, just keep pushing a little bit more. And sure enough, he shot, and I had one more last move, or he was going to take me down and win the whole match because I was done. I hit him with the high flyer, and then I pinned him. And then that's when this is the part I posted on Instagram. I stood over him and I flexed on him, which was kind of a dick move, but like the demons you're battling right there, dude.
Yeah.
Like everything's telling you to stop and just give up. Like you lost, like every negative thoughts in your brain, and like to overcome that, like it was one of the best experiences of my life, best matches I've ever been a part of, and it was because of that guy willing to push me to that level. But man, I'm scared of that, dude. And I forgot there was a wrestler that he got asked the same question where it was like, what's your biggest fear? Is it losing, getting pinned? No, he's like getting tired. And I was like, dang, I relate to that. Getting
Yeah.
tired enough where I can't defend myself. And it's probably 100 times worse in the octagon. You get tired like that, and you got some dude trying to take your head off while you're tired. Like, man, that's a scary feeling. So
You're gonna end
I
up
don't
getting
ever
hurt.
want exactly
Like,
you get hurt bad there. So it's like I'm willing to push as hard as possible now in this practice room where someone's not really trying to hurt me to like just get to a point where uh you'll never touch that wall. You'll never push me to that limit, you know.
yeah, because you've already put yourself there multiple times. So
Exactly.
it's like
That's
if
what I'm
somebody wants to go there, it's like, all right, fine, let's go there.
yeah, you want to go there. I don't know if you're used to going there. I'm here every day. That's the like the mentality. So and especially at heavyweight, like a lot of these guys, they don't there has to be something psychological that goes into like when someone's cutting weight, you're literally hungry, and then like you're actually hungry to train harder too.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Where the
Hungry
heavyweight
lions hunt best, you know?
exactly. So like
Yeah.
the heavyweight, I mean, they're freaking eating pizza or whatever they're doing, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like, how can you be so motivated and you're eating a pizza? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you're looking for that. But I mean, there's some out there, and that's why they're doing good too. So I'm trying to put myself on that level.
Yeah, when's your next fight? Do you
Um,
have a date yet, or I
yeah,
think in your post fight presser you're saying December.
yeah. So this whole thing's just been all over the place, and it's unfortunate, but it's like it's testing me. But they gave me a date of September, and I was supposed to fight. I was supposed to fight yesterday. No, 2 days ago, because they were telling me June 28th. They were telling me um, August 2nd, but now they got me an opponent, and it's September 7th in San Diego, and it's against a former NFL athlete as well, and he was a state. I think he was a state champion in wrestling as well. So they want me to face this guy because they think we're on the same level. But I'm here to show everybody is levels to this too.
Are you allowed to say who it is?
um, his name is Anthony Wint, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know who that is,
Yeah,
but
no, he's an up and coming guy too. He's an up and
yeah.
coming guy. Um, I think with his amateur and pro, he's like 5-0, and so they
Okay.
think this is going to be a good matchup. Just because of our skill set. I believe he's a smaller guy as well. I think I was reading where it was like he's like 5'11", 230. So it's gonna be like a smaller heavyweight, fight. So we'll see. And that's kind of giving me another reason just to lose some extra body fat as well. So
I feel like the hard part is trying to find fights because if you are a big name or you have experience, like you're a Division I wrestler, you're an All American.
yeah,
Dude, people don't want to, like, if they're up and coming or if they're trying to establish themselves, they don't want to take that risk of losing to
yeah,
an up and coming guy.
yeah. Fighting's a little bit different nowadays. Everyone's chasing the record, and they're trying to build themselves up so they could go to Contender Series or UFC. But yeah, no, it's tough. Especially with the organizations coming together. So Bellator and PFL they decided to come together, and so that this is why I think it's taken me so long to fight, because they're still figuring out how they want to run the organizations. So this one
Yeah.
will be for Bellator, but I was supposed to fight on the PFL cards, but I guess maybe they have too many fighters now. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, you're
So I'm
combining,
just staying ready.
yeah, you're combining those rosters. It's probably gonna be interesting trying to figure out, okay, well, who can we
Yeah,
match up with who that hasn't fought yet? Yeah, and then trying to put those guys together, it's got to be crazy. But that's cool that
exactly.
you're
And then
fighting in California, though.
exactly. Yeah. So all my friends and family, it's not too far of a drive for them, which would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you come out to California? Because you were, I mean, you were at Cal State Bakersfield rolling around for a little bit.
Yeah. So after I got cut from the 49ers, my parents, they live in Bakersfield. So I just came to visit them just to see what's next for me. And then I was trying to just stay in shape. And that's why I was at Cal State Bakersfield. Um, yeah, I don't visit often. And if I do, it's just for a few days. Like it was the last time I was there was Christmas time. So it's Christmas, I guess, every year I go to California, which is I want to visit more often, but I mean I'm just so focused right now. It's an important time in my career, because I'm still learning all this new stuff. So I need to be in the training room as much as possible.
Yeah, you gotta stay dialed in too. And I think it's
Exactly.
you gotta be able to find that balance too, where it's like you gotta be really focused on your training. And then when you're not training, it's like you just want to spend
Yeah.
time, I'm sure, with your wife and just not think about training.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to go out and maybe spend time and go do other things. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what like the sacrifice is, and it's like we
Yeah.
talk about the grind and it's like, dude, anybody can do anything for a little bit of time. It's like, but can you do this over a long period of time?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's And that's how I look at this whole game and you see even some of my teammates where it's like you could see why they're not having the success, or I mean just anybody in general, why they're not having the success that they want. I mean, they put in one good week of practice and they think they deserve, to let out the gas pedal. They think they could just take off practice. And so the people that are in the gym the most, I mean, they're gonna have the success that they want. I mean, it's just to me, that's just how I think the world works. You put in a certain amount of effort and work, you're gonna get the result you want. I mean, in some cases that doesn't
Yeah.
happen, but in the end, I think those type of people win.
Well, it increases your
So
probability of success. The more time you put
exactly,
in, the tougher that you get, the more adversity you overcome. It's only going to increase your opportunity or rate for opportunity. It's not
exactly. No,
guaranteed though.
yeah, yeah, nothing's ever guaranteed. But I used to be the I used to be the superstitious person of like I got to be a good person. And now don't get it twisted. Still be a good person now, but
Yeah.
like I thought good deeds win me wrestling matches, and I come to find out, just the work wins you the matches.
Did you have any superstitions like so you said being doing the good deeds? Did you have any other like superstitions that you had like maybe that you just had when you were younger?
No, I mean, I just really remember like if I if I treated someone a certain way, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm gonna be punished on the wrestling mat. That's how I was thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
looking back at that, I was like, dude, that's just so stupid. But yeah, I never had a superstition like that. I always wore like double wrestling sock, double knee pads, like on one leg type thing. I had a
Oh, yeah.
polo shirt warming up, but I don't think that caused me to win. It would be interesting to see how I would do with just ankle socks. I don't know. Maybe that is a superstition. I came in with some ankle socks on. Maybe I wouldn't wrestle as good. I don't know, but I don't think I had any superstition other than that one. Just that one's still like I look back and I'm like, God dang, that's how I looked at the like how you get a certain result. Like, not the
I
case,
mean,
dude. Not the
the
case.
thing about like of all the superstitions, that's probably one of the better ones you could have. Like, oh, you got to be
Yeah.
nice to somebody, and then that's gonna help you win.
Yeah, I gotta
It's like,
treat people the right way. I'm gonna be punished. I'm not gonna
yeah.
win. I'm not gonna win a state title. Oh yeah, no, exactly. No, I brush my teeth with my left hand every tournament, and yeah, no, none of that. None of that.
I had one. It was I would listen to "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner before every
Really?
match. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
not
it's
even.
the name of the. That's part of the reason why this is the podcast, "Simple Man." But
Oh, really? Yeah, nice.
yeah.
No, but there was one match where I listened to music, so maybe that's another thing too. I don't know, but I was like listening to like some hardcore rap, and psychologically it probably did play a factor because it's like some people need to be in like a calm state going into the match so your brain doesn't like just go everywhere. Some people don't need to
Yeah.
be hyped up, and in my case, the calmer I was going into that match, the better. It just my thoughts were clear, and
Well, you
I
tire yourself out too when you're getting all amped and you have this extended pre-match routine.
exactly, yes, yes. So there was one match I remember I was getting all amped up because I was like, man, I just need to bring the energy. Maybe if I just bring the energy in this match, I'll win.
Yeah.
But God, I one of the worst matches I ever wrestled. It's like I don't even think I was thinking about like strategy. I wasn't thinking about the tie ups. I wasn't thinking about my shots and the setups. So no, I never really listen to music unless it was like real calming music. I would put on like maybe some gospel music on, but nothing, yeah, nothing crazy. I needed to be calm because I knew as soon as I like stepped onto the mat, like the beast would come out.
Yeah, you got to be able to flip that switch. You don't want to flip it too
Exactly,
early, especially if
exactly,
part of your fear is getting tired, man. Like you don't want to get too
exactly.
crazy right before.
Yeah, no, there was this like mindset guy, and he talked about that. I was like, oh, that crap's stupid, but I mean, it did make sense. I stopped watching my teammates wrestle because it would make me more nervous for them, than
Yeah.
even my matches. So even little things like that was draining me. So, I started diving into more of the psychological side of it. And
Was that more in college or was that more in high school? You were doing that, like watching your teammates wrestle and getting you nervous, and then that mindset guy said probably not to do that.
this was this would have to be after my freshman year, after I took all those losses. I didn't have the season I wanted. And so I was like searching for something to like better myself in this area. And this is where David Goggins, he got really popular at this time. And so not everyone knew about him, but I was listening to him, and he was just like, you ever listen to someone and you just know it's the truth? Like, have you ever had that?
Yeah, man. Everybody trying to tell you can't do something. You gotta be like, screw that. I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, yeah, but like if if you're trying to like overcome like the fear of not wanting to suffer, like it is what he says is the truth. I mean, he does he go overboard? Probably. But like this is better than the alternative of being weak. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
being like, oh man, I hope I just pin this guy. I hope I don't get tired. No, that whole perspective was like, oh, I hope he pushes me to this limit, because I'm gonna be ready for it. I trained this certain way, and so I mean, it's gonna sound cliche, but like that really changed my whole outlook on, this whole like wrestling fatigue and the fear of, getting tired and stuff like that. I just embraced it, and you hear a lot of people just talk about it, just embrace the grind, just embrace the suffering. I mean, it's tough, dude. It's
It's
tough
easy
until
for
you like
people to say, it's like if you've
yeah,
never
I
actually
know.
like felt it before, but with Goggins,
Yeah,
it's like,
dude.
dude, he had like not a stroke, but he had something bad, like legit,
Yeah, yeah,
like it was gonna jack him up, and he was trying to push through it. And somebody was
yeah.
like, "Dude, you're done." So they went and took him to the hospital. And then as soon as
Yeah,
he got out, he's like, "Take me back." I'm like, what? He's
yeah.
like, "Take me back." And they went and finished the race, even though the race was already done. He wanted to finish what he started, the exact same
it's
spot that he stopped.
it's all just dude, it's just a mental game at the end of the day. It's all just a mental game. And I think that perspective is better than the alternative. And that's, just all that doubt, all that worry. You have to have something that combats that. So I use that to overcome I hope this guy rolls over for me. I hope I get a quick pin, or I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna get exposed. It's gonna be a lonely feeling when it happens too. But
Do you have those expectations for yourself when you were younger, like for competition and stuff like that? Or
yeah,
is that
no,
something
I
that happened
always
after you started having more success?
ooh
Because you and your
what
brother, you
was
guys are from Wasco originally, right? Like you guys know the Landons,
yes,
Christian
yes,
Jose.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it plays a factor of like the more success you have and however you get it, whether it's forced upon you, you know what I'm saying? So I had it was one of those crazy wrestling dads, that's who I had, and I look at it and I'm like, I'm glad he was like that. Now he's like this chill person, like he doesn't even care about anything. any of the sports or whatever. He just, that's why we transferred to Clovis, because he's like, I can't coach, I can't do this anymore. I can't coach, I can't push you guys. You guys have to want it by yourself. But he is the reason I had the success when I was younger, and I developed expectation for myself because of it. And so I I'm glad he was on, pushing me, you know. Um, but it goes hand in hand. I mean, when you have more success, I don't do you just wake up and just like there's expectation for yourself? I don't think that's how it works, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you feel that you get the taste of winning, and then you're like, ooh, I like that. And now when the
When it
switch
becomes like
really,
it's like an obligation. When it becomes like that point, it's like I
yeah,
kind of like I have to. Like I have to. Whether it's to
exactly. And
prove something to me or to myself or to my family, my coaches.
yes,
Like, I can't let them down. Like I have to win.
exactly. No, and that's important. But like the ultimate, trying to think of the words to describe this, but when you evolve, it's really about the process, and like how did you win? How did you, like, it was all about the grind, all about the work that you put in. That's why you had the success. And then because that's what I learned when I got on the podium. I was like, I never was working for this little NCAA All American plaque or statue, whatever it is. It was like what I had to go through to get that. Like that was so fulfilling. That's what like gives me self-respect, you know?
Yeah, you worked your ass off, and it was really
Yeah, dude.
hard. And there were some times
Yes,
where you doubted yourself, and you were able to find a way to push through it. And that's why, dude,
exactly.
that's why wrestling's so awesome, man. Like,
Yes, yes.
there's nothing else like it. Like, you can try to, I mean, football, it's got to be. I'm sure it's similar in a lot of ways. MMA, I'm sure it's similar, but like for any high schooler that's in doubt of whether or not they should try this thing called wrestling
Yes.
or not, like, dude, try it. Like, it'll change your
Exactly.
life if you let
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. No. There's just so many valuable lessons that are built into the sport. If you like choose to embrace it. There's some people that are like, man, I hate practice. I hate this. And like you're just letting all these lessons like go right over your head, like, and they're valuable for life. So you take them for
Yeah.
whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, kids don't necessarily want to hear all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, hey,
exactly.
this will
That's what
change
they're
your life. It's like, yeah, whatever.
yeah.
It's like
My
you have to
my
slick
my
them a little bit.
parents, yeah, my parents are telling me this every day. Yeah, no. I mean, however you find it, that's the thing. That was the thing I was talking about. Was like when you win though, and it's like there's no denying that feeling. And now it's like, how did I win? Oh, I put this much work in. I'm like, oh, okay. So if I like that feeling of winning, I'm gonna have to put a certain amount of work in. However, you need to trick yourself.
Yeah, and then you can replicate it with other things. It's like I know. All right, now I'm in the kind of this new sport for me, and now it's like you need to
Exactly.
figure out all these things. Like, well, I've done this a couple times before. Like I played fullback in the NFL. Like I've wrestled
Exactly.
at a high level. Like I can do this.
Yeah, that was like the whole David Goggins cookie jar thing. Is like when you start doubting yourself, then it's like go back to that time that you accomplished something, and like why did you accomplish it? How did you do it? And so that is important. And to that person that's never accomplished anything, just freaking put your head down, just grind and just see what happens. I swear something has to come about it. Has to.
Yeah,
So
it's those people that have done something and maybe they forget what that feeling's like.
forget.
I
Dude,
mean, that's
yes,
that's
dude.
my
Yeah.
biggest fear now is I'm gonna become civilized. Um, and
Yeah, dude.
I get married in a couple weeks, so
Oh, really?
it's funny,
Congrats,
yeah,
dude.
how much, yeah, thank you. But my fiance comes up in a lot of these podcasts. I had Lenny Zaleski on
Okay.
Friday. And
Yeah.
yeah, he was like, after we're done recording, he was asking me all these questions about her and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm not bashing her anyway. I'm excited. But
I mean, there's a balance, dude. There's a balance.
You know, you can't
Yeah.
be like some savage like Neanderthal of a human. You know what I'm saying? You gotta balance it the right way. I mean, just make time for both. You know, you don't gotta suffer all day every day, but suffer a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can find an hour or two in your day to suffer. You know, and go on with your life. You know.
Yeah. Well, dude, we've been going for a cool while. I got a few more questions, and then I'll
Okay.
let you go if you're cool with that,
Yeah.
because I feel
Yeah.
like we could talk all day, man.
Oh
This,
yeah.
this is fun.
Yeah.
Dude. So okay, NIL transfer portal. I guess just what are your thoughts on that? Like, if you could go back, do you feel like that would be something that you would be interested in if you were an athlete? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Shoot, that might have kept me in college for that one more year.
Dang it! Couple years
Yeah,
too late.
I would have transferred to some college that I don't know. They had a rich donor, and I could have.
You would have gone to
Some
Iowa.
team, yeah, some team needed a big guy, All American, right? But yeah, I mean, it could. It's good and bad. I mean, you just gotta be really real with yourself, you know, because if you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, which it's good if you're trying to get the money, because it's like in a few years from now, you don't know what you're gonna be doing. Your name probably doesn't hold the same value, so it's like make money off your name while you can. But like, if you're running away from the competition and like you're in a battle with a teammate or whatever, and you're like, I don't need this challenge. I could just transfer and I could start. Yeah, I don't. A lot of my friends have asked me this too. I'm like, yeah, it depends on the situation. If the coach is screwing you over and you know it, now that's a valid reason now to transfer. But for the most part, especially in like college football, I could see like they're bringing in that 4 or 5 star recruit, and you're like, dang, this guy's gonna challenge me for my spot. I need to get out of here while I can. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna come back to haunt you. You
Yeah.
know, at the highest level, which you're trying to go to, especially in the NFL. I mean, there's no running away from that. They're gonna they're gonna be guys in your position, and they're gonna be trying to take your spot. And if you're not used to that pressure, you're just gonna fold, and you're gonna be working the normal job, and your dreams are gonna die. And you're not gonna make any NFL roster like that, you know. So, and I mean, it's the same with wrestling too.
Yeah, the
So,
best guys are going to come in every single year, and the guys that are already really
exactly.
good that are already in, they're going to get better
Yeah,
every single year.
yeah, you're gonna make the lineup. You're gonna transfer and make the lineup, but then you're gonna go to the NCAA, and the 33 best are gonna show up, and like, what are you gonna do now? You know what I'm saying? You better be putting in the work. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to face it eventually. Now, if you're making money though, go ahead. You know, I'm all for that. You know,
Yeah. It's not bad for the athlete's perspective. I think as long as you
no,
don't do anything stupid with it, like, well, you could do something stupid with it, because that's how you kind of figure out not to do crazy stuff with your
not
money.
to
But
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
the,
It's
the,
tough too because I mean they're young, and then they're getting a good chunk of money. Now, if you got the right support system and you got the right people behind you, I mean, shoot, you can invest now. Like you're getting your life going at an early age. So I'm all for that. So
yeah, I would probably get like a new Xbox or something. That would be like if I'm 19 and somebody gets me a bunch of money, I'm like, I'm getting an Xbox, I'm
yeah,
getting a new car. Like,
yeah. Oh man, it would be tough to have some money in college. I mean, I see like Deion Sanders' kids. I mean, he's rolling up in a Rolls Royce. Imagine like you're the star athlete, you got all this NIL money, pulling up in a nice car, like you're just gonna be wanting to hang out with girls all the time. All the girls gonna be all over you. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be in the right headspace. But if you could balance it, all for it. You know, I think that's an individual uh issue. So, you know, I'll stay out of that, you know.
Well, I got one more question. You're talking about balance. Dude, how hard was it going from Fresno State football with a football body and then trying to get your body
Yeah,
right for wrestling?
it was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But man, it was worth it. So two I'd be around 225. Um, and then I would have to cut down to 197. So by the bowl game though, I would already be watching what I ate, which that was tough in itself because
Because
when
you
you go to
couldn't
a bowl
enjoy it.
game,
Yeah.
yes, dude, and when you go to the bowl game, that's when they're just spoiling you with everything. You got food 24/7, and it's like they're getting you got all these banquets and all this stuff. They're celebrating the bowl game. And it's like I'm limiting myself to just like a plate of fruit or something, like, and everyone eating the steak and mashed potatoes, and I'm over here trying to stay disciplined. But what helped me was what I said earlier, the the disrespect. So it was like I had that burning like desire to like just prove people wrong. And so I was like eating uh this plate of fruit, but I'm like, oh, I'll show everybody, It kind of was
Yeah.
having that savage mentality. But
You're eating a
dude, it was
pineapple
tough.
like I'm gonna show you
Yeah,
guys.
dude, it was tough because, dude, I mean, the guy across from me, he's over here eating chicken strips and fries. I'm like, dang, I really prefer that over some fruit and some vegetables. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, dude. And it was tough too, like doing the football practices while I was like trying to dehydrate myself a little bit and lose some weight. But I mean, it came off, especially the first time I did it. I think it was like 2 weeks after the bowl game, and I had a dual meet. And man, you would catch me outside running around the facility of just trying to get this like last 3 pounds off. And like all these football coaches like, dang, I don't even recognize you. I'm just so sucked up because it's like I lost 20 plus pounds in a short amount of time, and I'm running with sweats and whatever plastics on
Oh,
around
you
the
can't say that,
facility.
dude.
Yeah, exactly. That, yeah,
We're
exactly.
past the statute of limitations. They're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, whatever it took. But it's like, man, you see this crazy guy just running around the facilities. Like, God dang, what is he doing? He's about to wrestle a dual meet tonight. I'm over here trying to get these last 3 pounds off, and I'm over here doing a high crotch on my teammate. I'm over here lightheaded and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy, but it was worth it. It was worth it to me, you know.
Yeah, man. Dude, super thankful to have you on.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope you have fun. Dude, it was cool talking with you, man.
yeah, yeah. No, appreciate you for having me on, and whenever you want to do it again, just let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe when we get after this next fight, if you want to come on and talk for a little bit, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, sounds good.
All right, Josh, you're
Oh
the
yeah,
man, dude.
yeah. Thank you. You have a good one.
You too. See ya.
Yep. Later.